Hi, I'm Mike Bellevue. I write for Combat Handguns magazine, and today we're going to be taking a look at the FMK 9C1 second generation 9mm automatic. This is a double action only automatic that's geared towards the self-defense market. About a year ago, I started testing the 9C1 first generation gun, though at the time, of course, we didn't know it was a first generation gun. And now FMK has come out with a 9C1 second generation gun, and we're going to take a look at that. It's made in California, and it's one of the only new guns to be listed on the California Department of Justice approved list for sale in the state. As you can see, it has a 14-round magazine. In fact, we'll show you, which is an improvement over the earlier gun. This is the second generation of the 9C1, so as that implies, they have made some changes from the earlier gun last year. Now, this is also known as the Bill of Rights gun, and it has the Bill of Rights engraved on the slide, though that's optional. You can get that or not. I got involved with this gun during the first generation when it was in prototype stage, and I've got to tell you, launching a new gun company and a whole new gun is quite an undertaking. And the president of FMK, Jim Puntillo, he's a guy who wants to do it right. The first gun I got from testing from FMK had some real problems with it, and I talked to Jim and explained what I thought the problems were, and he addressed each and every one of them, sent me another gun to test within a couple of weeks. And he had a lot of people giving him feedback like that, and they constantly improved the prototypes until they had a pretty good first-generation gun out there. And now they've made some improvements beyond that, and we'll detail some of the features of this gun in just a minute. One thing that has not changed is that the Bill of Rights and other patriotic sayings are still engraved on the slide of the second-generation gun, just like they were in the first-generation gun. Not everybody likes that. I've got to say, I do. I'm pretty big on the Constitution, and I like saying it. It's just good. One of the neat things about this gun is it comes with interchangeable sights, and these sights have different degrees of windage and elevation. So if your gun is not shooting on target with the sights that it's equipped with, you can put in a new set of fixed sights that interchange very quickly. And basically, I don't think there's a situation you could find where you couldn't get it zeroed in using one of these sights. All right, before we get into the internals of the gun, I just want to show you that one of the changes they made is to incorporate a Picatinny Rail in the frame. And that allows you to, say, put a flashlight on, which, by the way, I think for any gun that's going to be used for home defense, there is no better accessory than a flashlight. So this is actually a pretty welcome change. And now we'll take a look at some of the other features of the gun and open it up. All right, this is the FMK 9C1 second generation gun. About a year ago, maybe a year and a half, I did an article on the first generation gun, which you see here. This is the 9C1 first generation. It's a 9mm, double action only, striker fired. And I did an article for Combat Handguns on it, and of course one of the interesting things I've already showed you is all the Bill of Rights that's engraved on the gun, and that is the same on the new gun. Now, it's pretty easy to see that the trigger safety and the trigger guard are changed. And that's about the only really noticeable change at a quick glance. But in fact, there are 10 significant differences on the second generation gun from the first generation gun. And we'll take you through some of those, and we'll show you some of the common features as well. Then we'll take it out to the range. Well, one of the first things to show you is the magazine. Now, I will say, one of the things I don't like about this gun is that the magazine does not kick out. Yeah, you really have to pull the magazine out. And for a self-defense handgun, I don't think that's a good thing. But these new magazines are 14-shot magazines, and they actually hold 14 shots without like ripping your thumb up to get them in. The older magazines, which are recognizable by these orange followers, are only 10-shot magazines. And the reason for that, of course, is to make them legal in California. So these guns with a 14-round magazine can be sold in other states, but they still have to use the 10-round magazine in California. Now, disassembly of the second generation is exactly like it was on the first generation. You'll see right here, there's a takedown lever. And the way this works is you tension the slide back, and then you just pull down both sides of that takedown lever, and everything slides right out. And one of the reasons I wanted to show you this are for a couple of the internal differences that really make a difference. Now, you really are not going to be able to tell in this picture, but you know, there are rails here and here to guide the slide back. Well, in the first generation, these are steel inserts, but these are molded plastic. In the second generation, we've got steel inserts. So we've got a much stronger rail assembly back here than we had previously, and that's a good thing. Now, in the first generation, the double action only striker was all plastic, and there was a lot of heat over that. So the folks at FMK have designed and installed an all steel striker in the second generation, and that's a very good thing. Now, to take it down for cleaning, all we have to do is remove the spring and plunger and pull the barrel out, right? And we are good to go. We can clean it up. So it's very simple disassembly, and reassembly is just this easy. We'll just slide it in. It's a lot easier to do when you're doing it without a camera in front of you, but we're good. Now, this gun does have a magazine safety. So without the magazine in, no bang bang. I don't like that in a defensive pistol, but that's what we've got. But put the magazine in, we're good to go. Right, in the older version, you would have actually seen the striker come back through that hole. And we don't see that in the newer version, and that's okay. I'm happy to have that steel striker. Also, on this version, the trigger pull is about 9 pounds. On this, the first generation, one of the things I complained about a great deal early on was the trigger pull. And I sent this gun back and they redid it, and it actually has about the best double action pull I've got anywhere. This gun has an 8-pound pull. So I'd love to get this one down to an 8-pound pull, but 9 is actually quite light for a double action only gun, and there's no problem keeping it on target. Alright, let's get the second generation gun out to the range and see what it can do. Alright, let's load up the FMK 9C1, and I'm just going to show you how the sights operate on this. So we're just going to do 5 rounds, and believe me, if you think it's easy shooting through the camera lens, think again, because it is not. But we're going to try to show you what it looks like when you're sighting down the barrel of this. And let's see if we can hit something. There we go. Widen it out a bit, try to get that. Alright, so there we are, 5 rounds. That gives you an idea of what the sight picture looks like. This is the way I would expect you to be shooting this gun, with classic 2-hand hold, and obviously it shoots very well that way. But the ergonomics on this gun are so good that it's really no problem firing it with a 1-hand hold, even though it's double action only, and hitting what you're aiming at all the time. And we'll just finish up with the bad guy's view of the 9C1.